warm welcome to you wherever you are joining Sport Africa around the world. My name remains Ashalulu Afemi. We have very interesting discussion lines lined up for you today on the show today. How was your weekend? I hope it was fantabulous. I had for myself a very, very restful weekend. James Agberebi and of course Kyle Ogundari, they are here, and we will be breaking down all of the things that we have for you nicely today on the show. Guys, you're welcome to the show, and I hope you had a fantastic weekend.
Thank you very much, Femi. Yeah, it was a fantastic one. We look forward to the week ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Femi. Happy to be on today's edition, and congrats to 3SC. I told you that
I was going to say that it had to be a fantastic weekend.
You guys will not go there.
AC Milan won, 3SC won, Manchester United won. I saw that post on Facebook, and I know you would have
some
gotten
people were actually waiting for us to fail so that they would have come here to laugh.
All right, okay, so our viewers across the world, let's take you through what we have for you today. We'll be, of course, doing our normal continental roundup. Then we'll talk about the big talking point, then start in diaspora and the big game over the weekend. Now, guys, let's get started with continental roundup. I don't know if any of you in your present or former life has had an encounter with a fan of the opposition attacking you with a knife on the field. And that was what happened to Super Eagles defender Osayi-Samuel, Bright Osayi-Samuel, yesterday in the Turkish Super Lig. And how he attended to that fan has been generating very serious controversy on the social media. And of course, I am back with a better experience. That is what Otto is saying this morning. Certainly, he did get the memo from Kayode and James on Friday. On Friday, he was announced as the coach of the Black Stars by the Ghanaian Football Association. And we'll be going to Cameroon because Cameroon, they are looking into the direction of former Super Eagles coach Ose Pesero. Then, like I said, we'll be going to Nigeria today for a star in diaspora. And the big talking points, all of those things that we've highlighted earlier. Then the big match, 3SC. I'll be asking Kayode today, why are they even called 3SC? We know them as shooting stars. Why are they called 3SC? They defeated the Remo Stars 2-0 in another Southwest derby. Now, guys, let's get into our discussion now. Kayode, I'll start with you. I'm sure you've seen that maybe the videos or the pictures is running on our screen right now, and the pictures as well. Yesterday, it was 3-2 to Fenerbahce against Trabzonspor in the Turkish Super Lig. And after the game, an aggrieved fan, I would say, a Trabzonspor fan, ran into the pitch and started attacking Fenerbahce players. Some of them bolted because they couldn't wait, because according to reports, the guy was wielding a knife. But Bright Osayi-Samuel stood up to the guy and he beat some sense into the fan. I saw a place where even some of his players and the club officials, they had to restrain him. And as well as this guy was wearing something like a hood they call balaclava, you know, so that to conceal his identity. In such situation, what would you advise the player to do? Because even after the game, Fenerbahce fans, they gathered outside the stadium and started chanting his name to the annoyance of Trabzonspor fans.
Well, I think the unfortunate fan had got what he had coming to him. I mean, who goes to a football game with a knife? That's so primitive. If your team loses, like I always tell fans, it's either you win, you draw, or you lose. If your team goes away to pick a point or pick 3 points and you are very happy, then you should also think that one day the tables will be turned. Your own team could lose or draw at home. So why would you be unhappy to the point of running onto the pitch with the intent to harm? Femi, if you come onto the pitch with a knife, that means you were ready to use it. If you're not going to use it, don't flash it. That's the golden rule. Now, if you aim to use it, to what purpose? To injure somebody. So if the person turns the table around on you and is able to injure you, then all well and good. Bet. One, okay, let me quickly say one, it shows how dangerous it is in Turkey. It shows how dangerous it is in Turkey, because when I saw those videos, I was imagining that happening on the pitch at Stamford Bridge, Old Trafford, Anfield, Goodison Park, or any of those pitchy venues in England. No, it will not. And then I think Osayi-Samuel put himself in harm's way too, because that guy could have inflicted a fatal injury on him. I would, in his position, it's not about being afraid. It's about being sensible. He should have allowed the security officials and the stewards and everybody
But
on
the,
the
the
pitch at
stewards were
that time.
not even anywhere to be found, as well
No,
as
no, no.
security
Femi,
operatives.
at the point when the guy was coming, they had options. There was a point where the guy stood, Osayi-Samuel and his teammates stood on the other side, and they were looking into each other's eyes, waiting for who is going to make the first move. At that point, there were other people apart from players on the pitch. I would have stepped back, allowed them to do the job, except when I feel I am in extreme danger. Now,
Okay.
it was the hero of the day, but then he has to keep looking over his shoulders to be sure that he's safe, because somebody somewhere, any of these maniacs, any of these idiots could still be on the lookout for him. You understand?
Okay.
So that's why I feel discretion is the better part of valor. I would have not done that, but it doesn't make what he did wrong in any way. No, it doesn't make it wrong. But hi, you asked me what I would have done. I wouldn't have done that, but I think he did well in the circumstances.
Okay, I like that. Discretion is a better part of valor. James, a lot of, like how they said, it shows the kind of things that happen in the Turkish Super League. I don't know whether you remember recently when a referee was attacked and the league was suspended for a certain week. I think early in January, or was it last month? Now, what we saw Bright Osayi-Samuel did was some of the things I've seen in Lagos, where you found two people fighting at the roadside. The way he was really decking at that fan. But some people have actually questioned his conduct. Would you agree with what Kayode said? The fact that, okay, it was in self-defense, or you believe that he could have acted maybe more civil, being a fan? What do you think?
When I saw the video, I noticed that I think they were together in the middle of the pitch, as they were waiting for the stewards and security to come and take them out of the stadium. And I saw that it's like he left the group to go and attack the fan. Fan, everybody would say he's the hero. I saw the video where they were chanting his name, but I think it could be a target. These are people who have nothing to lose, fans like that. But the guy, remember, you saw that the guy covered his face, So for me, fine, you say, okay, he did it. He's not the hero, but he could have ended in another way, sad way, because, the guy was harmed and could have been bad in this thing, But thank God that nothing happened to him. But you have to be very, very careful next time. I know that he was trying to defend himself, but sometimes you just have to apply wisdom in some of these things. Once things like that happen, the first thing players used to do is they gather together, then they now usher them out of the pitch. But it's like he went out of the group to confront the guy, and he would have ended in a negative form, So, but thank God that nothing happened to him. But Femi, the Turkish league is becoming something else. Even the Nigerian league I think there's sanity in the Nigerian league now compared to the Turkish league. The other time we saw the president of the club attacking the referee. So I don't know. We want to say the Turkish league is more advanced, more, has everything compared to the Nigerian league and some other African. But what is happening in the league is doesn't portray that league as something that one want to really follow, because there's been one bad news to another. So we now left for the countries football body to now do the needful, because you can't continue like this. You are marketing your league. So the earlier they put everything in place, the better for them.
Okay, all right. So wait to see what the organizers of the Turkish Super League will say about this. Thank God there is international break. So at least for the next about the next weekend, there wouldn't be any league action. Perhaps all these things will just fade away regarding the safety of Bright Osayi-Samuel. Kayode, let's go to Ghana now. Like I said in the intro, certainly Otuado didn't get the memo from you and James last Friday, and later in that day after our recording, it was announced as the new coach of the Black Stars. And he was saying that decision wasn't very easy for him. But this time he's coming with a different approach, because he's bringing UEFA Pro license assistant coach of some sort. So directly we'll be having an assistant coach who has a UEFA Pro license and previously worked in Cyprus, Germany, Vietnam, and also Standard Liège and a couple of other places. His name is Lawman. But James, Kayode, I beg your pardon. Now, what do you think about this decision about of course, his first game will be against Super Eagles of Nigeria on the 22nd of this March in an international friendly in Morocco, Marrakesh. But I don't know how this come to you, despite the fact that saying that he shouldn't even think about returning to the job.
That was my advice yesterday before he took the job. And once he has taken the job, of course, the advice will change to looking at any sources is a plus for local, for indigenous coaches all across Africa. And then it's also a plus for the Ghana national team to move ahead. What I would think is, like he said, I agree with him that he's coming to the job with more experience. Now he knows how to undo the officials better, because see, a large chunk of the problem is actually the administration of football in Africa, not the players per se, because all of the players are professionals at one level or the other. The coach himself has professional experience behind him. He's used to how things are done a certain way in Europe. He wants to translate all of that to his new job, but then he has to deal with officials who have this mentality that is still in the Stone Age. So for me, that is exactly where I feel there's going to be a problem. How is he going to face down the officials? How is he going to tell them to go? I don't want to use the F word anyway. So that's the key word. Of course, he has players that is used to, although they've had one more bad tournament under their belt. Now you see the thing about constantly changing coaches. If we had gone ahead with the players and the momentum that they generated under him after the World Cup, probably that Ghana team wouldn't have been as bad as they were at the last AFCON.
I agree
But
completely.
then what it means is Otuado has to start from ground zero again, start building. And there's no better way to start than against their traditional rivals, the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Femi, this is not a friendly game. Let's just say it is a game. No, I will not put that connotation friendly, because there's nothing friendly when Nigeria plays Ghana. No.
Okay, all
The
right.
game between friends.
Okay, all right.
Listen, it is a game between friends, but it's not friendly.
Okay, game between friends, but not friendly.
Yes.
All right, so we'll be preventing that game before it takes place in Morocco. So to add the name that Joseph Lohman, the coach who has a UEFA Pro license as his first assistant coach. Then we have John Page, which is a good one, and of course Fatal Dawda, the former goalkeeper, as his assistant coaches. So we keep our fingers crossed as far as what he's doing. So he will have his job cut out in May for utmost preparation for the resumption of the 2026 World Cup qualifier. Ghana have, like Nigeria, they've not started on a very good note. James, let's talk about Jose Pesero now. Over the weekend, a report said Cameroon are actually looking in his direction to replace Rigobert Song, and we all knew why it ended for Song. His contract expired after the AFCON, and of course, Samuel Eto'o dare not even propose renewing the contract to the federation right there in Cameroon. Is it going to be a good choice for Cameroon?
Well, based on what he did with the Super Eagles at the AFCON, so yeah, that was one of the reasons. That was the main reason why they are looking at his direction. You know, he wanted to win the AFCON, but unfortunately, he ended up runners-up. But I think it has kind of enhanced his CV, because the Cameroon that are trying to woo him over. Remember that it's the same coach who led the Super Eagles to defeat the Indomitable Lions. So like I said, the AFCON is just kind of it benefited Pesero, because he knew that a good outing for the Super Eagles will help him, especially in his CV. Put him out in the window for anything, for a good side who want his services, and I think that's what we are looking at. So we don't know whether eventually we land the job, but he has made himself a good, put himself out there for countries to look at. And that's the thing about the Super Eagles. There are so many coaches who come around, because they know that they have quality players in the team that they can use to enhance themselves. We've seen it mostly in the past, even the likes of Kenafro too. So good one for him if he eventually lands the job, because Cameroon is one of the biggest teams in Africa. So coaching them will also enhance his CV. So all the best to him if he eventually lands the job. And I hope that they'll give him the freedom to do what he wants to do, because it's like Nigeria, like Cameroon, like Ghana, So hopefully all the issues I've been hearing about technical food will not come up, because they want the federation to start having issues. No matter whether it's Guardiola or Mourinho that is there, the team will not do well.
Okay, all right. If you ask me, I think Nigeria, it's even fair when it comes to interference in the selection of coaches, like what you've seen in Ghana, especially, because almost everyone becomes pundit when it comes to national team, how the national team is faring. But I think in Nigeria is still a bit fair. Well, that's my opinion. Before we leave the starting point, let's go to Senegal. The Senegalese Football Association are thinking of renewing Aliou Cissé's contract for just a year. And there has been someone who has said that this guy has the best result in terms of a national team in the history of Senegal. He won their first AFCON for them. So why just give him a year? Now, according to another report, the Senegalese Federation is looking at the fact that 2024 AFCON was a disaster. You know how it ended with Cote d'Ivoire. But now, in a defiant interview, he said it was not a disaster, that it was just an experience in his 8 years that he's been in charge. But now they just want to give him a year to 2025 to see how he does in the next AFCON. And if he doesn't do well, he'll be put out.
As a decision that is well thought out, is one that I agree with. Any other association, Femi, would have kicked him out after the last AFCON, and that would have been grossly unfair. Now they've given him the chance to redeem himself. And if he doesn't, if he has to leave at the end of this 1 year contract, Femi, it would still have been a job well done. Whether he succeeds or not, yeah, I would think he should be thinking of winding down his time with the national team, because maybe it's not a job for life. And at the point, maybe too much familiarity, when you get to see someone's face every time, it gets boring, then it brings a sort of disrespect. I would advise that if they say he has had the longest time, and he has had the most successes, Femi, then that's probably because no other coach has had the kind of longevity that he has had with the national team. So it goes hand in hand. It would have been a disaster if he didn't have anything to show for his long time in the saddle. So for me, I think it's a mutually beneficial agreement for me. And I think I keep liking the Senegalese FA more and more each day, because this is the way to go. Instead of sacking him because he didn't do well at the last AFCON, they are giving him another year. In that 1 year, it's either he's going to renew himself or he starts preparing his handover notes. Either of the two works well for both parties. And at the end of the day, if he has to leave, he will leave in a decent manner, because he knows that they're not just going to renew his contract. And so for me, that's a good way to go.
Okay, but he has also said that he's not clinging on to anything, that whatever decision the
Exactly makes, that's what I'm saying.
Fine by him. Yeah, it's fine by him. Okay, let's go on this break. What we'll be talking about our stand in diaspora today. Then we'll be talking about the big game over the weekend. Please stay with us. Yeah, welcome back to Still Sports Africa. We've been having fun on the show today. So much to talk about. Of course, there's still a lot being the fallout of the 2024 AFCON. We told you earlier that there's going to be a lot of fallout, and coaches have continued to be in the news because some federations have sacked coaches. Some are still looking for coaches. Up to now, the Super Eagles of Nigeria, they do not have a substantive manager, and they'll be playing next week in a friendly game against Ghana and Mali. But let's go to our stand diaspora today. James, Samuel Chukwu is get our attention today. It might be a little bit controversial, but I've been following this guy since he moved to AC Milan, and the criticism in the Milan press has been astounding. Has been monumental, because last season they came 28 million euros, their biggest move over the summer. I know Kyle knows a lot because as a Milan fan, but over the weekend against Verona, he got his first Serie A goal, making 3 goals and, just an assist in about 24 or 28 matches thereabout for the Rossoneri. James, what do you think? Because I listened to an interview. He said that interview wasn't popular, but he said the reason why it's finding it difficult in Italy is because in Spain, the game is just more about technicality. just take your man one-on-one and you beat him. But in Italy, he's been too physical for him.
Femi, I think you should just sit down and learn a lot of things in it. Because when you play in the Italian league, you're not going to get the kind of freedom you get in other places. You come with, as in, there are so many things. You look as if you are in the university. You will learn a lot of things. That freedom you used to. You remember when you used to be the tormentor in chief when it comes to playing against Barcelona, Real Madrid. I mean, in Italy, you're not going to get that freedom. They know all about it. They know that he's a very good player, so they prepare for him. So it's not left for him to now, evolve his game. It's not the time you get the ball and want to run at you're not going to get that kind of luxury in Syria. So it's just for him to just sit down, learn, unlearn again. So that's the thing. The way the nature of football, they're different in all the leagues. The way they play in Germany is different from the way they play in Premier League, Spain, France, and the rest. So it's not left for you. You don't go in a different league with the same mindset. So that's the reason why he has been finding difficult. He's not like an Osimhen who has physical who's ready to fight his way to. So Chico is even when you see him playing the Super Lig, you see that he's that kind of player that is soft. He just wants to do his thing. But once he's rough handled, I mean, he's off. That's one thing about it. So it's now left for him to add more into his game. Football is more pacey now, more physical.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to do that in his game. He's a good player, and the fact that the coach has been even giving him minutes shows that they believe in him. So it's not left for him to do the needful.
Okay, when you sign a player for 28 million euros, it is not Manchester United where you sign a 93 million dollar or pounds or euro player and you put him on the bench or you even loan him out. All right, Claudia, let's talk about the big game over the weekend at the Lake Salami Stadium in Ibadan. 2-0, it ended in favor of your team, Shooting Stars, against Remo Stars. Remo Stars, they've lost back-to-back Southwest Derby in Nigeria Professional Elite League now. But, Claudia, before I let you get into it, why Shooting Stars called 3SC?
Interesting one. Okay. At foundation, they used to be known as the WNDC, that's the Western Nigerian Development Corporation FC, because they were owned and are still owned by the Oyo State government, which used to be a part of the Western Nigeria region at that time. Then later on, they metamorphosed into IICC, which was the Industrial and Investment Credit Corporation, still an arm of the Western Nigerian government, but they now added the Shooting Stars to it for, Efizi. So, and under that name, IICC, they won loads and loads of trophies. They are a club of many firsts. They were the first team to win a continental trophy for Nigeria in 1976. In 1984, they got to the final of the Champions League. In 1996, again, they lost on both occasions to the same team, Zamalek FC of Egypt. And they were the first African club to win the CAF Cup in 1992. The final was held in Ibadan at the Lake Salami Stadium. They beat Nakirubo Villa of Uganda 3-0 on aggregate. So they are a club of many. Of course, they've won like five league titles, about 7 or 8 FA Cups, and a lot of other titles. They've won the Waffle Cup for West African clubs. They are a team, a very, very accomplished team. Then in 1990, the government of the day conceived of this idea to make them a mega club that will have other clubs apart from the football arm. Football was just going to be a part of the whole club, just like Ali of Egypt, just like Zamalek and other sporting clubs. So the name now changed to Shooting Stars Sports Club. That's 3S and a C for the club. That's how the name 3SC came. So 3SC is just a shortened form of Shooting Stars Sports Club. And under that name, they've done well. They won the league and cup double. That was under the name under which they won the CAF Cup in 1992. They've won the Waffle Cup in 1998. They played in the Champions League. They've won a couple of league titles too. They got to the final in 1996 under that name. So whether you like it or not, they're still a very, very big, very, very established team in Africa and in Nigeria in particular. They have a very large and loyal fan base. I think as it is today, only 3 teams come close in terms of fan base. You look at 3SC, you look at Rangers, who are their traditional rivals, And then you look at Kano Pillars and then Insurance. Insurance are also a traditional team, even though they also have not been the team they used to be in the past. So I think circling back to yesterday's game now, Remo Stars, who are relative newcomers to the Nigerian football firmament, are becoming a bogey team for 3SC. Since gaining promotion, they've played 8 times. The Shooting Stars have never beaten them in the league. They've won 4, drawn 3. Yesterday was the first time 3SC will be triumphant against them. They won this reverse fixture 3-0 in Remo in Ikene when they played in the first time. And 3SC now took their pound of flesh with a 2-0 victory. Even though I was hoping they will win by 3-0, they did not. Of course, 3SC have beaten them in preseason competitions, but never in a league game. This was the first time after 7 previous attempts that had ended in 3 draws and 4 losses to 3SC. So 3SC are the team in form at the moment. The 6 games unbeaten, they've won 4 and drawn 2. They are now just 6 points off the league leaders, like you said. And then all of a sudden, there's a belief that we can do something. 6 months may be much, but it's just 2 game days. That okay, we can with another win, we can just go up the ladder and see how that goes. So I think it is just reward for the fans who have been loyal. 3SC started the season very, very well. At the point, they were joint leaders with Lobby Stars and Doma United, and then they just fell off the track, and a couple of bad results meant that they had to go as far as 13th in the league. Now they've clawed their way back. They are now 6th on the league, and like we have said, just 6 points off the table. So let's hope they can keep up the momentum, and at the end of the season, we'll see what happens. I'm not, like most fans, we're not even thinking of the league title, but let them get a continental ticket. And that would be like the first time in a long, long while. I'm thinking the last time 3SC played on the continent will be in 1998. Yeah. No, in 1999, because they won the league title in 1998 and played and that was the last time they won any title of any value. So this would be a good return to the continent for 3SC.
Perfectly put together. Thank you so much for your thoughts on the show today. James Agreebi, thank you so much also. It seems we lost you on the connection on the other side. To our fans across the world, our viewers, thank you so much for your support for Sports Africa. We do not take that lightly at all. We want you to react to some of the things that we've raised on the show today, particularly the case with Super Eagles of Nigeria defender. I'm talking about Bright Osayi-Samuel, about how he approached the game of the pitch invader who was wielding a knife in the game between Trabzonspor and, of course, Fenerbahce in the Turkish Super Lig on Sunday. What do you think? What do you think he should have done? And we're waiting to hear what the football authorities in Turkey will say about that incident. And of course, Otoado returning to the saddle for the Black Stars of Ghana. His first game will be against Nigeria again. Remember 2022? In the 2022 World Cup playoff against Super Eagles, again, his first assignment will be in an international friendly against a 3-time African champion. But what do you think about him returning to the Black Stars job? Let's know what you think in the comment section. I hope you have a fantastic week ahead of you. Bye for now. I remain Asha Lula FM. We'll see you all.